Raiders who could be cut on defense. I'm going to be breaking it down. I got 4 players on the Raiders who could potentially be cut. First guy is Eddie Vanderdoes, signed a 4-year, $3.26 million contract with the Oakland Raiders, including a $761,000 in signing bonus, with also $761,000 guaranteed. An average annual salary of $816K. Now, here's the thing. In 2019, he will earn a base salary of $679K while carrying a cap hit of $869K. His dead cap value is $380. Since being drafted in round 3, I think we can all agree Eddie's been a little bit depressing and hasn't really quite lived up to the hype. Now, if they cut him, it's going to save $720, okay? $720K. Let me just say this. Eddie is a talented player to a certain degree, but when you look at all the injuries, when you look at the depth that the Raiders have, I necessarily don't really want Eddie on the team anymore. I think that if you could take that money, invest it in somebody else, like you guys are talking about going out and getting a player like Gerald McCoy. You want to talk about going out and getting a player like Kyle Rudolph. Cutting players like Eddie Vanderdoes is one of those players where you can just move on from. And I think ultimately, the Raiders would be okay. So I'm going to ask everybody who's watching this show right now, and I'm going to be looking here in the comments section. Should the Raiders cut Vanderdoes? I want you to type Y for yes or type N for no. Okay, so I'm looking down here in the comments section, and I'm going to start shouting out. So type Y for yes, type N for no. So Julia Smith says no. Raider Tory says yes. Savior says yes. Nick says yes. Dead Raider says I don't know. Fair enough. Dave and Jacob Cruz, they both say yes. I want to know from everybody watching, though, because this show is not about me. It's about all y'all. Y for yes, N for no. I also want to give a special shout-out to BetDSI, because y'all are looking real good with that promo deal. Woo! Chatsports.com/bet. Raiders 120. Use it for 120% deposit bonus. You put down $50, you're going to get $60 for free. Put down $100, you get $120 for free. Put down $500, get $600 for free. Shout out to BetDSI for going to hook up with that best promo code on the internet. All right, second player that the Raiders could potentially cut on defense, it's Gabe Wright. And I think when you look at Eddie and you look at Gabe, I think one of these two players will be cut this year. In 2019, Gabe is going to earn a base salary of $645K while not carrying a dead cap hit whatsoever. So if the Raiders want to move on from Gabe Wright, it doesn't cost them anything. It just saves them $645K. When we're talking about players here on defense, it was harder for me to find 4 players simply because the Raiders' biggest needs on the entire team were defense, right? I mean, they were in the draft. Like, they needed help on the defensive line. So I think Gabe Wright or Eddie, or potentially even both, maybe not both, could potentially be cut. But when you look to see what he's done his last 4 years, I understand it's only $645K, but for a guy who's played in less than 16 games in the last 4 years, and only 3 games in the last 2, if we can just save a little bit of money and move on from Gabe, right? Because I've seen enough from Gabe. Gabe, man, like, I'm sorry, dude. You're just not good enough to be on this team, in my opinion. So, man, we got Artie Key, Mo Hurst, Johnathan Hankins, and Ferrell. They're lining up the defensive line. But defensive tackle, P.J. Hall and Ellis, they're ahead of Vanderdoes and Gabe Wright. Maybe if the Raiders want to go out and maybe sign a potential player like a Gerald McCoy or another big-name defensive tackle. I was going to say Dominican Sue, but he's already gone. So, unfortunately, that one can't happen. So, will the Raiders cut Gabe Wright? Type K for keep, type C for cut. I'm going to take a sip of my drink because my voice just desperately needs it right now. So, will the Raiders cut Gabe Wright? K for keep, C for cut. Give me a sec, y'all. All right, that one's gone. And I finished off the Oak and Eden bottle. I'm telling you guys this right now. You know that I love craft beer, but if you like craft whiskey, what I need you to do is go to Oak and Eden, okay? Go on Instagram, look it up on Twitter, or just slide in my DMs at MitchellRent365, and I'm going to get you hooked up with the best whiskey you ever have. You see the bottles on screen? The reason why they're different, that wood spire, they can make every single bottle of craft whiskey different. It's absolutely mind-blowing. They're totally changing the game. What I do for the Raiders on the Raiders Report, #1 Raiders channel, Oak and Eden, #1 whiskey out there. I'm telling you guys right now, go out and get it. Type Oak in the comment section if you want it because we're going to be looking. So, you want some Oak and Eden? Like I said, slide in my DMs at Mitchell on IG and on Twitter, at MitchellRenz365. I also saw somebody said, Mitch, quit saying slide in your DMs. What else do you want me to say? Please submit a comment in my direct messages on either Instagram or Twitter, at MitchellRenz365. Is that better? Okay. Let's look at the next player that could potentially be cut on defense, Kyle WILBER. Now, again, I'm talking about these players who could be cut because it's tough because the Raiders don't necessarily have a lot of depth at linebacker. But if you could tell me that they could save $750K to potentially go out and get another named player, I'd be okay with it. Now, Tavon Coney is right now the 4th linebacker on the Raiders depth chart, behind WILBER. I've seen enough of Kyle WILBER where I think I'm okay. I think I've seen enough of WILBER where I want to see what Coney could potentially do. And I would bet my money, at BetTheSI, that he's going to pass WILBER and the depth chart. And if that happens, I think WILBER's going to get snipped. I do. I think that the linebacker is still a position of need for the Raiders in terms of depth, but the Raiders are also going younger. WILBER's 30 years old. I don't see it in the cards for him. Now, when you look at the Raiders linebacker depth chart, you have Vontaze Burfict, Marshall, and Tahir Whitehead. And then you have WILBER as the 3rd string linebacker. And if he's replaced by Coney, I'm not necessarily sold on the idea of paying him all that extra money. Now, sure, you're still going to eat $750K. But I'm looking at it more in the sense of, can we save this money for a player who's 30 years old and we want to move on for him? I'm going to type my one for yes. I think the Raiders should cut him. Obviously, that's why I put it on the show. But you guys know the show is not about me. It's about y'all. So 1 for yes, 2 for no. Now, I got another question for everybody who's watching here on YouTube and Facebook. I need a car. Not a Derek car, but I need an actual automobile that I can drive around because my car is struggling. So I asked everybody on YouTube, give me some car suggestions. So Nick took advantage of it. He says a BMW 1 Series. I drive every car for a living. I want to know what you do. And that car is a beast. 0 to 60 in 4.6 seconds. How much is it? Because I'm also balling on a budget here. This is a great name. Can Abyss. It's clever. It's definitely clever. Another BMW 435 IM Sport package with some smoke, apparently. Cannabis doesn't surprise me. Quick bolt-ons and tune and you're set. You know, I don't know what you just said, and I kind of figure I'm not a car guy, and when I talk sports to my mom, I figure that's how I sound. So if you're going to go with the car deal, if anybody's selling a car, let me know. I will literally fly to you and maybe get a car if you can hook me up with a deal. Lil Sean. A Tesla. I'm going to need a lot more super chats to afford a Tesla. I would absolutely love to drive one. However, if you, Lil Sean, want to submit a super chat, help me get that. I would probably need a few K. And then this last one's coming in from Marshawn Lynch. I'm repping a beast mode shirt right now. Are we going to ignore the fact that y'all talking about cars on here? I need a car. We talk about Derek Carr and Mitch needs a car. If you guys are selling any automobiles or know any deals out there, hit me up. Because your boy needs to be able to get to work. And if I don't have a car, there's no more Raiders report. And that's just not what I think anybody wants. So send me submissions for some cars because I need some. All right, last player that could be cut here on defense, Dale Levitt. The Raiders have plenty of depth at safety. And this guy played in only 23 snaps on defense and on special teams in 2018. In fact, he played only 1 defensive snap in 22 snaps on special teams. And if the Raiders cut him, they're going to save $495K. And I think at times when I look at only $495K, it kind of kills me to say only $495K. I mean, how many people right now would be like, hey, I'll give you $495K, you'd be pretty happy about it. I mean, you and I both. But when I look at the overall depth, I mean, they have Carl Joseph. You know, you go out, you get Lamarcus Joyner. You go and get Johnathan Abram in the draft. I just don't really see him fitting in. Now, he was a 2018 undrafted free agent. It's a good story. But again, I'm looking at players where I can save money. Because I'm kind of cheap. Now, you know, kind of cheap. I'm not going to say what I was about to say. Probably get in trouble for that. So, let's take a look at the 4 players that the Raiders could cut on defense. Eddie saves $720K. Gabe Wright, this one saves $645K. Kyle WILBER, $750K. And Dale Levitt saves $495K. Now, these are the 4 players on defense that I think that the Oakland Raiders could ultimately cut. If I missed any players, let me know in the comment section. Let me know on IG. Let me know on Twitter. I want to hear from y'all. Also, you know what else I want to hear from y'all? if you guys subscribe to the youtube.com/RaidersReport, the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube. Now I finished my whiskey, and luckily now Tom, since he's back from his honeymoon, has hooked me up with his drink. So I don't know what I'm drinking, but it's cold and it's liquidy, and it's pretty good. There's some grapefruit in it. Type S for subscribe. Let me know if you guys subscribe. If you don't subscribe, tell me why you don't subscribe. What do I have to do to get you to subscribe? youtube.com/RaidersReport, the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube.
Raider Nation, what's going on? Is this the #1 Raiders channel on YouTube? For Chucky Heads, believe it, baby. And if you haven't already, subscribe right here. I'm giving you Chucky Heads, news, rumors, Raider Nation rumors. And look at this, I'm making your life easier. Check out my next video. Thanks for watching, and go Raiders.